Good afternoon to everyone. I'm Dr. Genevieve Fung, or Jenny, and I'm from the Department of Pediatrics, and my specialty is neonatology. So I think most of you who've worked or who have done some research may not really know what neonatology is. It's actually a branch of pediatrics which looks after babies. So if our age range for pediatrics could be from birth to 18 years old, but for neonatology, it's the first month of life. So you may think that it's a very narrow spectrum, right? However, there are lots of exciting research going on, and actually the clinical work is also very exciting and very challenging as well. So from neonates, we mainly deal with babies who have problems. So mainly a lot of preterm babies. And nowadays we are having very smaller and smaller preterm babies. So now we're having babies who are born at gestation 23, 24 weeks and who grow up who survive a very stormy neonatal period and then grow up well. However, for neonatology, there are a lot of unanswered questions like why is one treatment better than the other, and how can we improve the outcome of these preterm babies? So let me introduce you to our neonatology department. So this is the outline. So we introduce you to our staff and our students, and then what is neonatal medicine like, and what research are we doing, what collaborations we have, and what about a career in our team. So this is our recent team photo taken just a few months ago. And this is our team. So for academic staff, our team head or director is Professor Simon Lam, who's sitting behind you over there, and I'm Dr. Genevieve Fung, and we are both Simon and I are clinical doctors, which means that in addition to doing research, we also work in the neonatal intensive care unit and take care of the babies there. So we do a bit of both. And then for the neonatal research team, we have some very good colleagues. So Dr. Kathy Chan, Raymond, Peggy, and Kathy, and they work both in the labs and also in the ward as well, with patient recruitment, sample analysis, and also further discussions on research. And then we have 3 postgraduate students as well. And this is a photo here. And so the neonatal unit at Prince of Wales Hospital is the only tertiary neonatal unit in New Territories East region. So you can see the population in that our catchment area is quite large, over 1 million people in our district. And the annual delivery rate, we have about 66,000 babies per year being born in our hospital. And we have 22 neonatal intensive care beds. And intensive care beds means that these are beds for babies who need more intensive treatment, or the babies who are more sick, who need more attention and more treatment and more support from our side. And in addition to NICU, we also work closely with the obstetrics team, because a lot of high-risk pregnancies come to our hospital. And these babies may have congenital problem, or they may have some intrinsic problems that were present before birth. And we work together with our obstetrics team to take care of these babies as well. And for babies who need surgery, some of them are cared by, if they are older, they are taken care in Prince of Wales Hospital. However, for the small babies, if they need surgery, we transfer them to the Hong Kong Children's Hospital, and we have collaborations with the Hong Kong Children's Hospital as well. And then these are our research projects, which includes sepsis, necrotizing enterocolitis, microbiome, big data research, prenatal and early life heavy metal exposures, mucosal immunity, and neonatal outcome for complicated pregnancies. So it's quite a diverse this is quite a diverse list of research areas. So hopefully, if you can find one area that you're more interested in, for example, big data research, or molecular region, or something more molecular like microbiome research, then feel free to talk to one of us, and then we can tell you a bit more. Okay, so actually I have a group of slides going through the research that we are doing, but I think we don't have that much time. So I'll just quickly go through them. So one of the research that we are doing or have been doing for the past few years is on a life-threatening disease called necrotizing enterocolitis. It's a disease that affects preterm babies most, and if untreated or detected late, a lot of babies die from this disease or they may have severe complications. So we are trying to find some biomarkers which will tell us early if the baby is developing this disease so that we can start treatment early. And so we have looked at a number of biomarkers for this disease. And this has been our ongoing research theme for many years. So we have had many papers published in this area as well. And we still have ongoing research right now. And we also have ongoing research on this topic with the Children's Hospital as well. And these are some of the papers that we published on sepsis and also necrotizing enterocolitis in the previous years. And then another very hot topic that maybe I put the okay. Okay, another very hot topic that a lot of teams are doing in the Chinese University of Hong Kong is microbiomes. And so we do that in babies as well. Because for newborn babies, if we find that there's abnormality in their stool microbiome, it may have long-term effect on the babies in the future, whether it be in many different aspects. For example, allergy or a long-term neurodevelopmental outcome or GI health, etc. So we are looking at that as well, and we have some ongoing studies on stool microbiomes. So we look at the microbiomes in the stool and then see if if it is related to some of the outcome like necrotizing enterocolitis or developmental outcomes of these children. Right. Oh, okay. So in the same theme as microbiomes, we find that microbiomes are also in the respiratory tract as well. And so some new studies that we are developing now are respiratory microbiomes. So we look at microbiomes in the respiratory tract of the baby, in the lungs, in the airways of the baby, and see whether it's associated with any long-term outcome. And we want to see whether and there's anything that we're doing in the NICU, like giving antibiotics or giving them ventilation, would that affect the microbiome status of these newborn babies? So these are some of our ongoing research in the past 1 or 2 years. And then nowadays, a lot of people are looking at big data. So we have big data research here as well. And it started a few years ago with Professor Simon Lam's student. And we looked at the big data of neonatal care in Hong Kong. And for big data, we have data in the Hospital Authority Data Lab, which covers the whole of Hong Kong. And we are also joining a network called Australia and New Zealand Neonatal Network, which has data from Australia and New Zealand as well. So if you're interested in big data research, then that could be something that you would want to look at as well. And then another research that we're doing is with Professor Renee Chan's team in Children's Hospital on mucosal immunity. I think Professor Chan will talk to you more about mucosal immunity in her presentation. So basically, we've been looking at, for preterm babies, we're looking at how the mucosal immunity develop in the nose and in the upper airway, and then see how that relates to the baby's health in the future. And then another research that we're doing with the obstetrics team is that we look at complicated pregnancies and we look at the baby's outcome to see whether it affects the outcome in the short term and in the long term. And this is one of the ongoing research starting this year. And then we also work with another team on questionnaire studies. So, for example, there's a question that we want to ask, what does the general public of Hong Kong or the parents of our patients feel about one particular problem, or what is the attitude towards one particular treatment? Then we have some questionnaire studies as well. So if you have a question on that, then also something that we can work on. Okay, and then in addition to research in our unit and also with other units in CUHK, we also have local and international collaborations. For example, we have collaborative studies with other teams in CUHK, as I said just now. And then we also have collaborations with other teams in Prince of Wales hospitals, including the microbiology team, the obstetrics and gynecology team, and then we have some publications done with them as well. And then, as we talked about, Hong Kong Children's Hospital is one of the is a new and also tertiary center for children in Hong Kong, and they specialize in a number of specialties. As Professor Leung just said, hematology and oncology is one of the specialty. They also one of the other specialty that they have is they have a neonatal intensive care unit, and they also have a large surgical unit there. So for babies requiring surgical intervention, a lot of them are transferred to the children's hospital. So we have collaboration with them as well, in both in taking care of our babies and also in research collaborations on different surgical conditions in babies. And then we also work with the respiratory virus research team at Hong Kong Children's Hospital, which is Professor Renee Chen's team. And then we are looking at currently looking at development of organoids to predict certain chronic lung conditions in preterm babies. Okay. And then outside Hong Kong, we have collaborations with Australia and New Zealand. And this is a network called ANEZNN, which is Australian and New Zealand Neonatal Network. And it's a multi-center registry looking at outcome data of babies who are born preterm in different countries. And most of the centers joining this network are from Australia and New Zealand. But there are also other centers from, for example, Singapore and also Hong Kong, which is our center. And with this network, we can see how well we are doing in treatment of babies in Hong Kong. But at the same time, because the network covers a lot of hospitals, there's a lot of data from Australia and New Zealand as well, which we can work with. So if that's a topic that you're interested in, then we can also talk to the network and see if we can share the data as well. And that's actually very useful to see how well we are doing or which parts that we need to improve on, but also very useful when we're doing collaborative studies. And then closer to home, we have collaborations with Guangxi, and we have a regular academic presentations with them since a few years ago. And we also have academic exchange with them in neonatology. So Guangxi will be sending one of the doctors over to us in Hong Kong for further research arrangements. And then we also have collaboration with Bao'an Hospital. We are still in the middle of discussions with them as to what is the mode of collaboration, but hopefully maybe starting some collaborations with them in the future as well. Okay. Okay. So this is a very, very brief run through of our department's neonatal department, our department's neonatal team. And I worked as a clinical doctor for many, many years and just joined research a few years ago. However, it's been a very amazing experience because in addition to knowing how to treat your patients, you can try and think of questions that you have been wanting to answer all along and try to answer them in your research. And planning research, etc., is also very challenging, but also very exciting as well. So if you are interested in neonatology or neonatal research, please go into our website and then click on one of us, and then or click onto our website email address and then write to one of us, and then we can get back to you very soon.